So let's start. Alfreda, I think you should start.
Pour yourself a glass of wine, like we do, as each and every time.
Cheers.
Welcome, guys. As Wilco said, we're not here to do anything more than educate you guys, as that is our passion, and that's what we love to do. So we will be doing that hopefully for many more years with some wine and coffee and individual sessions. But tonight, as I said, thank you for joining us in a webinar. I'm going to take you through, on the previous sessions, we discussed on rather buying or renting a property, what to look out for on your contracts. Tonight, I'm quickly going to run through the transfer process, because I get that on a daily basis. People ask me, especially first-time home buyers, what's the process? What can I expect from the date that I sign my contract with my estate agent or with my seller? All right, so after you've signed your contract, the first thing that will happen, either the seller or the estate agent will send through the contract that you've signed to your transferring attorney. That transferring attorney will then be opening a file with your name on as the purchaser, and they'll send you some initial letters with your pro forma statement of account, which will reflect all the cost payable to the transferring attorney, as well as your transfer duty, the tax payable when you purchase a property to such. You'll also see on that account there will be an amount payable to your city of Tshwane or your council. And if you buy a sectional title property, there'll be a levy payable. So that'll be your transfer, your pro forma account that you must please do not throw that away. Keep that safe, because that needs to be paid most probably when you sign your transfer documents. And check that letter. If you have to pay a deposit, that'll also be stipulated on there, as well as your transferring attorney's trust account. Just a quick hint. Phone your transfer attorneys and confirm the banking details with them, as it happens. Cybercrime and those accounts get hacked. So confirm the trust account details with them telephonically before you pay over your deposit.
Can I quickly come in there?
Yeah.
She's mentioning a very important point there, guys. Cybercrime is active and alive as we speak. So as you're going into the working force, as you're going into, let's call it the real world, I think you guys have probably experienced one or two spam mails, but this is more serious than spam. People really duplicate your email. They sound like you, they look like you. And
even though we as attorneys or whoever's got all the security measures in place and all the firewalls, we do get hacked sometimes, and banking details do get changed. So please go and check those, confirm those banking details with the transferring attorneys before you transfer any deposits and or costs. Okay, so now your transferring attorney has opened your file. The next thing they'll do is they'll request cancellation figures, clearance figures from Tshwane, but the most important thing is they will wait for your bond approval. So in the background, you will apply for your bond either with your bank or your private bank, or you'll make use of a bond originator. Either one of the two works perfectly fine, whatever suits you. But once your bank or the institution has granted you a loan, that loan instruction will be sent through to another set of attorneys. So that's the second set of attorneys, the bond attorneys. And you'll have to pay costs to them as well. So keep that in mind when you budget for purchasing a property: transferring attorney fee, bond attorney fee. Okay, your bond attorneys will receive the instruction. They will also provide you with a list of documents that they'll require, an initial letter, and a layout of your cost or your pro forma cost account for your bond. Then in the background, they'll do a whole lot of work that I'm not going to bore you with, and they'll draw up all the transfer and bond documents, and both of them will contact you for an appointment to sign. So you'll sign with the transfer documents with the transferring attorneys, as well as the bond attorneys. So you'll sign two sets of documents, you'll pay two sets of accounts. Those attorneys will then speak to one another. They'll request the transfer documents, transferring attorneys request guarantees from the bond attorneys. And after you've signed your bond documents, they'll provide them with guarantees confirming that the funds will be available on registration of this transfer that will pay out from the bond into the transferring attorneys. And on registration, they will then pay your seller and the agent and all the other costs that needs to be paid. you'll pay your costs. Once your costs have been paid, your transferring attorney will pay your transfer duty, the clearance figures. And once they've got clearance figures, transfer duty receipt, levies receipt, they will then prepare their documents to be lodged in the deeds office. They'll confirm lodgement with the bond attorneys as well as the bond cancellation attorneys acting on behalf of the seller. Once the 3 sets of attorneys have gotten all their okays from the banks, confirming that everything is done, everything is perfectly fine and checked, PICA has been done, everything's finished, then they'll lodge in the deeds office. They'll link the documents in the deeds office, and it'll take normal time, approximately 10 to 12 working days. Nowadays, with COVID, we're looking more to 15 to 21 working days in the deeds office before registration. You'll probably get a confirmation from your attorneys that your transaction is on preparation. That means that it'll register the next day. All the attorneys speak to one another, confirm that everything's in order, all the costs have been paid, all the certificates obtained, and the banks are happy with everything that they've got. And then the property gets transferred into your name. Simultaneously with that, the bond gets registered over the property. All right. So once it's registered into your name, you'll receive a letter from the attorney stating that the property is registered into your name. And you'll also receive a statement of account, just giving you all the calculations that has been done up to date, like a final statement. If there's any change that you get, that money wasn't spent, they'll pay it back to you. All right. After that has happened, you wait more or less 2 to 3 months. And you'll receive also a letter from the transferring attorney with a copy of your title deed that they've received back from the deeds office. Once, because always remember, your original title deed goes to the bank, your bond holder. So you won't get your original title deed, it goes to the bank, but you will provide a copy of the title deed. So you've got that for all your purposes that you will need it for, and please keep it safe. Yes, keep it safe. That's proof that you own a property. And then please make sure that after registration of your property, you will go to City of Tshwane or whichever council your property falls within and go and open a new rates and taxes account with all the documents that your transfer attorneys will provide you with. You are responsible to open that account and make sure that you get a rates and taxes account. It does happen that people do not open an account, and then 10, 12, 15 years along the line, they want to sell their property, or they get an account that is literally millions. So please make sure that you tend to opening your City of Tshwane account. That's the process of purchasing a property. It sounds very easy when I put it like that, but there's a whole lot of work that goes into it in the background.
Okay, so guys, on that note, I know it's a lot of info. So I think the most important thing is there's a recording of this session, and it's going to be posted on our YouTube / my YouTube page. I still need to change it. Wilco Jonker. Go onto YouTube, go and check it out. We had a session last year for those that didn't attend the previous one about property buying or renting, and this one slots right into that. And I think also once you start into this whole investment journey, because like Alfreda just mentioned, you're going to have to save up. You're just not going to wake up one day and say, now I'm going to buy a property of $1 million or $2 million and think that there's no costs involved. It's only going to be all from the bank. So you are going to save, you are going to have time. For my young professionals, doctors, I say, spend internship, spend ComServe, save up towards that. Get knowledgeable, get your facts right, search for the right property.
And if you've got questions when you purchase a property, please don't hesitate to phone us or phone the transferring attorney. Ask the questions that you want to ask. Make sure that you know exactly what needs to happen, when it needs to happen, and what's your responsibility in the process.
The one thing I learned from her is it's your house. You decide. It's not the attorney. It's not the estate agent. You're going to stay there. You're going to pay the premium or the bond. So to make sure you make a right decision, get information, ask questions. All right, I think that's
budget for the costs.
Well done. Awesome stuff. You know your stuff. Okay, so as we mentioned in the beginning, let's go into my first section. frequently asked questions. Joe, do you maybe have a question there for us before we go into my session? Maybe for Alfreda, something on that?
I think there's just a general question on how long does the transfer of property take, Alfreda?
All right. From the moment that the bond is granted, it takes more or less 8 weeks to transfer the property into your name and complete this whole process. But that was unfortunately before COVID. So I would say in this time with COVID, budget for about 12 weeks. So I would say 3 months, more or less, to have the transfer take place from the bond that's granted, not from signing of the contract, but from the bond when the bond is granted.
Okay. So side note, don't give up your rent before your property is registered, because you're not going to have a place to stay.
Yeah. No more, my dad.
Move right back in there. Okay. Next up, frequently asked questions. So like Alfreda said, the last 3 weeks have been very interesting. I've had the privilege to start meeting one-on-one with a lot of you listening in tonight, and probably
and we
after
received
this.
quite a few WhatsApps, emails from all of you guys. Thank you very much. Obviously, we appreciate hearing from you guys, answering and helping you guys. But I mean, we were laughing, and it's a fun situation because we get quite a lot with all the different universities as well, the same questions. So we've decided to do a question and answer session with the frequently asked questions around our dinner table that pop up literally on a daily basis.
And by the way, because of COVID, we share an office at this moment because we're working remotely. So whenever I'm on a call with a client, Alfreda can hear everything. So there we go. All right.
And vice versa.
So we picked the top 5.
Yes.
So, and by the way, guys, I forgot to mention, other note, if you've got any questions, please mail it through to us. Tonight, we're going into a lot of detail, so there's not going to be a question and answer really at the end. We'll see if there's time, but I doubt it because there's a lot of info still coming. So mail us, WhatsApp us, anything is open. You know, I'm an open door. Alfreda's an open door. So let's get cracking.
Between the 8 and 5. Open door between 8 and 5. All right, guys. So, Wilco, I was promised that my tax registration will be taken care of by my wealth manager. Can you do that?
No, Alfreda, I can't. A wealth manager cannot register you for tax. That is for a tax practitioner. So whenever a financial advisor or a wealth manager tells you that they can register you for tax, I wouldn't say it's a lie, because lie is a very strong, bad word. I would rather say that they might have someone within their close circle of friends, the same as I do. I refer all of my clients, I refer them to my strategic business partners, the guys that I trust. And on that note as well, guys, I've mentioned it to the one-on-one sessions, to get a tax number is not difficult. It's a quick phone call to SARS to get your tax number, to get registered.
And an online registration.
You can go the online route as well, but I mean, the easier route is if you've got time, you just phone them, you get a tax number. So don't let something like that be the main decision why you're partnering with someone that needs to take care of your investments and your estate planning. Please, that is purely for tax practitioners.
It's not a selling point.
There we go. I always say to people, when it comes to tax, on investments, I know about tax on investments, but I'm not a tax practitioner. We leave it for experts to do their job. If you want someone to operate on your heart, you go to a cardiologist. You're not going to go to a gynae. All right, there we go. Next one.
So, Wilco, I've heard that certain retirement annuities will pay me a bonus at retirement. Is that true?
Okay, Alfreda, that is 100% true. Certain retirement annuity products within the market is going to pay you a bonus. They're not lying. That's 100% true. I think it's just important to think broader than just getting a bonus at the age of 65 or 56. Well, 65 actually. No company, take it from me, no investment company is going to give you something for free. When we get to investments, you are the one that's paying the fees. Remember that. I said it in the previous sessions. I'm always going to emphasize it. On investments, you, the investor, are paying the fees. So whenever someone tells you that there's a bonus involved, it's actually a kind of trick to keep you longer. And if you go and look at the fees, et cetera, the one offsets the other, and at the end of the day, you're almost paying your own bonus.
So it's almost like a sale, but they put up the price by 25% before they advertise the sale.
2 for the price of 1, but last week the 1 price was the price of 2.
Yes.
So no, it's not that bad. Nothing wrong with the products. And just on retirement annuities, guys, I just quickly want to mention it. I'm going to be quick. There's a new bill that they've presented that they want to implement. Do you remember we spoke about the retirement annuity? When you want to immigrate, you need to leave your money for a further 3 years. They've now stated that they actually want to tax you even further when you want to leave the country. When we're having our one-on-one sessions, please mention it to me so that we can have a chat about that. Once again, I'm not against retirement annuities. There's just so many rules that you need to understand before just blindly running into it. And like I said, March 2022, there's another rule coming in.
Especially if you've got in mind going working overseas and financially immigrating, guys, this can have a huge effect on your retirement. Please, please, please make sure that you know what it's about and cover it in your plans. Yeah.
Before you get the keys of the house, you're going to do a lot of planning before you start that retirement annuity. You're going to have to chat and know the rules. Okay, next one.
So, Wilco, do you only give advice on PPS?
No, I don't. Okay, so I am not a PPS advisor. I am a 100% independent guy. I think because I got your contact details from PPS and we started the whole journey from a PPS background, and I love PPS. I love the company. You will hear later on also that I love all the companies. It just depends on what suits for my clients. But no, I'm not the PPS guy. I can't just do PPS. I'm 100% independent. By the way, I give advice and then I use products to implement if it's needed. All right, next one.
So, Wilco, what's the difference between yourself and the other financial advisors on campus?
Okay, that's a tough one.
You're hot.
Financial advisor is a financial advisor. But we at Harbour Wealth decided to call ourselves wealth managers because I'm here, like I just said, I'm here to manage your wealth. I think those that had the one-on-one sessions with me, we're having conversations. We're having a chat about what you need, what you want, and where you want to go with your plan. And then I guide you and I assist you and help you to get to that plan. What's the difference between me and some of the other financial advisors on campus?
You don't register people for tax.
Yes, I don't. I don't register them for tax. But at Harbour Wealth, we are super specialized, especially when it comes to investments. We've got a Category 2 license. Now, I don't even know who all is on campus. But I know certain companies are agents. Certain companies can only give advice on certain products where we are independent. And our Cat 2 license puts us in a very specific, super specialized category when it comes to investments. Those that had the one-on-one session, they would have heard this before. Nothing against a GP, but a GP he's got the same knowledge, cardiologist, but he's not allowed to do what a cardiologist is allowed to do. Whereas when you deal with Harbour Wealth on an investment side, we're the cardiologist that has super spaced in heart surgery. Even further. So that's, if I can put it like that, what differentiates us from them. And with that Category 2 license comes a lot of extras.
And responsibility.
A lot of responsibility, but also a lot of extras in the sense of fee saving. We can bargain for better fee structures because we come with a bigger wallet. It's not just a one-man thinking. It's a group decision that's been made on your investments.
Can I get in there? I think the most important thing to remember, so Wilco, is that it's not, I think you guys must always remember when you choose whatever partner, if it's your wealth manager, if it's your attorney, if it's your doctor, your gynae, your estate agent, the place where you buy your car, you want the best deal for you. And the person that will be able to give that to you will always be the guy with the most knowledge. And also somebody that's not selling a product, but somebody that's giving you advice and truly focusing on what's your needs and what you require from them. Because we're all professionals. I mean, we all get paid fees. what's the best for your client? And that's what we are supposed to do at all times. Even you guys, when you go into private practice, what's the best for my patient? What's the best for my clients, your clients?
Yeah.
Ultimately, that's your main goal.
Yeah, if I can put it into medical terms, if someone walks into your practice, you're not going to start selling them the Panado and tell them what is in there. No, you're going to first find out. You're going to first find out what's wrong with them. You're first going to find out what they need, and then you're going to say to them, okay, by the way, here's your prescription. Hope you get better. So the moment someone starts explaining a product too much in detail right up front, you know what to do. Run. All right. I think that's that.
No, it's not. There was another one that popped up frequently. Cool. So Wilco, can I please have wine with your wife?
You guys are more than welcome to come and have wine with us. I think one of the polls that's going to come up later on, COVID permitting, and I really hope that's going to happen. I just hope everyone gets vaccinated and we can move on. Is that at the 4th session, somewhere in October, we're planning that. We're planning a get-together. I want to see you guys. I want to meet you guys in person. I want to rub shoulders. We want to have a wine. We want to have cool drink. But because the question is, can we have wine with your wife? You are more than welcome. So yeah. All right. That's tongue in cheek.
You guys are laughing. That was actually a question.
Yeah, it was actually. One of the clients actually said, we please want to have wine with your wife. So anyway, guys, that's the first part from me. Like I said, please mail me your questions. Get in touch. It's important. You're making big life decisions, and I'm here to help. One last sentence. Sorry. I've said it to everyone. Would I love to be your wealth manager? Of course. I would love to be the wealth manager of every single living human being within this country, because I truly believe my heart and my advice is on the right place. But can I? No. I'm only one person running a very lean show at this moment, but Harper Wealth can. And even if I can just add value and you even go somewhere else, we're happy with that. But I want you to make informed decisions so that you are better off. Right, that's
benefiting from that.
Okay, next session. I see there's a poll running. This is tongue in cheek, guys, as well. What are you going to do with your first salary? So give us some light-hearted info.
What did I do with Mark? What did you do with your first salary?
Sure, I paid my student loan, so I was responsible.
A couple of years ago, Wilco.
Not too long ago. Not too long ago.
I can't remember mine.
I paid my student loan. That was the responsible
I bought a car.
thing. You bought a car?
I bought a car.
A new one or a second-hand one?
Brand spanking new.
I wasn't involved in it.
He knows better now.
Brand spanking new. And I went shopping. So
with a lawyer's salary. Oh my word.
No, that
someone was boosting her on the side. But anyway, let's carry on. Guys, light-hearted question tonight. What are you going to do with your first salary? Let's see. Alfreda, next up.
Right, next subject, wills. Guys, these have also been questions that you guys have been asking about. This is not only important for you, it's also, we wrote a newsletter a while back for Harper Wealth regarding estate planning and wills. And this is a discussion that you guys, please, it's like an uncomfortable discussion that your parents had with you when you were going into your teenage years about the birds and the bees. This is now the uncomfortable discussion that you guys are going to have with your parents regarding estate planning and wills. Please don't avoid the subject. It's very important to make sure that families, especially in these times, know what it's about, know what will is about, why a will is important. And I'm not going to go into the detail of estate planning, not at all, because that's a completely it's a subject that needs to be discussed personally, because each and everyone's estate and family estates differ when there's family trusts involved, and it's a different situation. I can't give advice on that except one-to-one or with a family. But I need you guys to realize what the importance of a will is. I know that most of you, and that's a discussion that we've had, especially when I draft you guys' anti-nuptial contracts, we've got nothing. We haven't got an estate. We don't need a will at this stage. We'll draft a will when we've got kids or when we start investing, yes, or purchase a property or whatever the case may be. And that creates a problem for the people that's left behind. The moment that you haven't got a will, there's a whole lot of problems, because then the Interstate Succession Act applies, and that means that you've got no control over who gets your assets. So that's one of the problems. The other problems is that it can take an extremely long time to appoint an executor, because you haven't appointed an executor. Now your family has to appoint an executor. It can also incur unnecessary costs. And then, guys, trust me, I work with estates on a daily basis. There's fights galore when there's no will. So please make sure that you guys draft a will. And the moment that you've got an asset, if it's an investment, if it's a bank account, if it's a property, just draft a will and decide who the money goes to. Appoint an executor. Make sure that the executor you appoint is not an institution that'll take months to tend to you. Make sure that it's someone that you've got a personal relationship with, that'll take care of your family, especially where your parents are involved, or where you are involved, or a loved one, or a husband, or wife, kids. As you guys can guess, that we've really been busy in our estates department over the last year and a half. And I'm on a serious note, that I think that was the worst part for me.
Yeah,
of the last year and a half.
The last year and a half was not easy at all. And guys, like she said, on a serious note, the nice thing about a well-drafted will, good estate planning, good products in place, in an extreme uncertain time where people sit with you, they've lost everything within a space of a few weeks.
Days.
They sit with you, and then all of a sudden you are the only certainty that they've got. So yes, we always joke and we're fun about it, but the work that we do can get very serious.
And unfortunately, the both of us, we work together a lot in that department, and we sat with families during the last year and a half. Grateful the planning that we've done for them and the work that we've put in beforehand, and grateful that we could assist the families during this difficult time. But make sure that you, as a family or as an individual or a couple that's planning on getting married, make sure that you've got your will in place.
On that note, I didn't discuss this with you. I want to put it out there. Everyone, tomorrow morning, you mail myself or Alfreda. She's going to get her estate department to send you a will. It's going to be free of charge. And they're going to draft you a simple will. Sorry, I didn't discuss it with you, but I just thought about it now. You're going into it, even if you leave your teddy bear. My son is 10. He drafted a will when he was 5. We know exactly where all the teddy bears are going. So on that note, tomorrow morning, those of you that are interested, it's a template. We send it to you, and it's free of charge.
Yes.
No costs involved. Draft your first will. Get it stored. It's going to be with Alfreda. We're going to store it, but then you've got at least something in place.
Yes, and as I said, discuss it with your parents. Make sure that you as a family know that everything's in place, that the costs will be covered. Who's the executor? Help each other create a little file with all of your assets or liabilities, all the accounts that needs to be paid. That this is really something that helps everybody that stays behind to make that process much easier. Guys, there's nothing more draining than when you've lost a loved one, than having a dragged out process of months and years, nagging someone you don't know or an institution that you're only a number with, nagging them to sort out a loved one's estate. I promise you, that's the worst thing that can ever happen. So make sure that your will is sorted out, that you know exactly who the executor is, that they will tend to the process speedily, that they won't charge the highest cost because there's costs involved for administering a estate. Make sure that the planning was done properly, that the estate duty is limited. That's why we're there. We're specialists. You don't have to pay the highest estate duty, especially as your estate grows. Make sure that there's trusts in place for the minor children, because otherwise you will never see that money.
That's true.
I think that's it from my side. As I said, luckily, we had the privilege of working together on quite a few estates and really assisting people, and believe that we made a difference
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I said,
in
we're
families'
the only
lives.
a certain part in an uncertain time. All right. Any questions there, Joe, before we move on to my side?
So I have one here, Alfreda, that says Capital Legacy drafts a free will. Do you draft our wills as well, or do you have connections for a will? And then there's also one on what is a live will, if you can maybe just
A
answer.
living will. Yeah.
Living will.
Yeah, we also, I think most estate call us planners or attorneys, we do the drafting of the will mostly for free, but yes, I do the drafting of wills myself, and I have the appointments with, I've got a huge estate appointment side, but I prefer having an appointment with the clients and making sure that everything's in order before we draft the will. Okay, a living will, that is a advanced healthcare directive regarding the prolonging medical treatment. So that means it's a will where you decide if you want to be kept alive or not.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's a different, it's not in your original will. There's two wills. So there's the original that'll be kept with your executor, and that living will be handed to you guys, the original, and that will be then handed to the doctors at the hospital, or no, to the family, because we need the original will to be handed to the master once we administer the estate, but the living will be handed to you guys, and that's decided then. You can specify a whole lot of procedures, which you guys will know much better than we do, that can be listed there, the do's and don'ts that you want to be put in there, and organ donating and so on and so forth. But that's also something that we prefer to attach to your will as well and draft that for you guys or for family members.
What I wanted to say earlier on, I want to advise all of you, and like it sounds grim, but this is the grim part of our jobs. You at the perfect point to get the If I Die files ready.
Yes.
Okay. Get your If I Die file ready tomorrow morning, because, and luckily when you partner with Harbour Wealth, there's a dashboard where we can save all our documents. It's in the cloud, but you can even have a physical hard copy.
I prefer
where you go like, this is my If I Die file. And whatever you do, your family knows there's a red, blue, purple or pink or black file that is If I Die. You go to that file and everything will be sorted out. So yeah, that's just,
I don't know, most of you guys know that we are a special needs family, not the two of us, but you got special need kids. But also I run a department of my firm specializes in special needs trusts. So if any one of you guys have got the need for a special needs trust to be drafted, that is my big love in life. We've got a department taking care of special needs people from out of their trusts, tending to all their payments and needs, and it's a massive undertaking, and it's truly my passion, I would say. Yeah,
because we're so closely involved.
Yes. So please, if any one of you need assistance with that, don't let it overwhelm you. I've been around the block. I know what's the do's and don'ts and what needs to happen. If you've got family members that needs assistance with that, please pass the number on. It's really my true love.
And special needs is not just in a physical type of or mentally type of physical need. Some elderly people at the age of or a certain age become special needs. And we specialize in that. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, go.
I'm late. It's my part again. Okay, so product specific, and I think maybe some of you just joined for this session, and I thought I'll keep it for last. So also part of the frequently asked questions is, okay, Wilco, so we get the advice, we know where we want to go, we know what we want to do, but I've listened to this guy, I've listened to this guy, I've listened to that guy, and I've had my individual session. There might be girls involved, I don't know. But we don't know, because this guy says Sanlam is the best. This guy says PPS is the best. This guy says Discovery is the best. So who's the best? Who do we join? So I thought from a planning point of view, like I said, I give advice. I sell advice, and then I use products if needed. Okay. From a wealth protection point of view, That's your income protection, life cover, disability, lump sum, critical illness, setting up trusts, etc. That is how we protect your wealth going forward. So there's not a one-size-fits-all package. Everyone's needs is going to be different. So therefore, and take it from me, independent, 99.9% of the time, income protection, life cover, disability, lump sum, critical illness, the company is going to pay you out the same. Here and there are certain companies that differ a little bit. Like if you get hospitalized for 4 days or longer on income protection, PPS and Sanlam are the only two companies that will pay you out. The rest of the companies don't have that benefit. Certain companies won't give you a 7-day waiting period on sickness. They start from 14 days or even 30 days. So therefore, there's little bits and pieces that might differentiate the companies. And at the end of the day, the premium as well. Because if the one company charges you 1,000 Rand and the other one charges you 600, Albany bread at Checkers at 10 Rand and Albany bread at Woolies at 15 Rand, you're stupid to buy at Woolies. Go to Checkers. It's the same brand, same thing, but it's cheaper. All right. So therefore, I thought tonight I'm going to focus on, but what do you get? What do you get back? The cash payback, the profit share, the cash conversion, all those type of lingos out there. And I thought I'd single out 3 companies. And by the way, once again, mentioning it so that no one says that I'm product biased or this or that. I'm independent. I'm licensed with all these companies. So I'm allowed to say what I want about them as long as it's the truth. All right. So I decided to take PPS, Sanlam, and Discovery and focus predominantly on their cash payback, because that is when you speak to a typical agent, that's the selling point. What are you going to get out of it? We're going to
What's
give you
an
this.
agent?
An agent is someone that can only give advice on a certain company.
So they will work for Sanlam or they will work for Discovery, okay?
So they work directly for Discovery. They call themselves a franchise of Discovery.
Okay.
But
That's the only product that they can...
They can give you amazing advice, but they can only give you a Discovery. It's like the Mercedes dealership. He can give you advice on cars, but when it comes to the product,
He's going to sell you Mercedes.
There we go. All right. So first of all, Sanlam cashback benefit. So some of you might have had this conversation, but I think it's important to understand it, and I'm putting it in layman's terms. So Sanlam will give you a cash payback on the premiums that you've paid if you stick with them for 15 years. So how does it work? Let's say your premium is 1,000 Rand, whether it's 500, 1,000 or 2,000, no matter what it is. They add 35% on top of that. So for this calculation purposes, we're going to make your premium 1,000 Rand for all the benefits that you've chosen. So you sat with the wealth manager, he told you you need X, Y, and Z, and for this, it's going to cost you 1,000 Rand. But wait, there's more. There's a cash payback coming. 35% on top of that. So it makes your premium 1,350. Okay, so that's what you're going to pay. But then how it works is your premium is actually most just 1,000 Rand. So they take that, they multiply it by 12, multiply it by 15, meaning that if you stick with them for 15 years, after 15 years, so most of you at the age of 39, 40, you will get 180,000 Rand. So for this calculation, if your premium is 1,000 Rand in your first year, 15 years from now, 180,000 Rand. Is it an amazing benefit? Definitely. You're only paying 350 Rand more for it. So if you had to compare PPS and Discovery to Sanlam's premium with the cash payback, the chances are good that Sanlam is going to be a little bit more expensive. Well, 100% that they're going to be more expensive. But then you know that you're guaranteed, come 15 years from now, that you will get 180,000.
If you claim, does it influence that?
Okay. It's very technical, but yes, if you claim on the benefits that you've got, and certain benefits might influence your payback differently. If you die, it's done. You get your life cover and it's...
And you lose the extra that you've paid.
Yeah, but on the critical illness, disability and all of that, you will get whatever your premium is halved by. But that gets a lot technical. So keep it basic. If you choose the cash payback at Sanlam, you're going to pay more for that, but then you know you're guaranteed for 15 years. So I'm going to park that on the side. I'll get back to my summary at the end. Let's quickly chat about discovery. Now, discovery is, you know, when you open up a medicine box and you open up the leaflets, it just continues, where the difference between discoveries, T's and C's and products and everything, and the leaflet, discovery is only in English. There's not different languages explaining to you what dosage you need and so forth. But is it good? Yes. Is it for you? Yes. Can it work for you? Definitely. Okay. But how does discovery's cash payback work? So, and there's actually a small bit in there that I love, that I will probably discuss with you all. So what they do is, you need to take out the risk benefits, and then you link either medical aid or vitality to it. If those are linked to it, you already qualify for a cash payback.
And cheap gym.
Cheap gym as well. So then, but your guarantee starts on 7.5%. So you know guaranteed that 7.5% of your premiums will be paid back to you annually, or you can choose every 5 years. If you don't want it after 5 years, you can actually get the double payback, where Discovery will get you extra, but then you have to wait a further 5 years for that. Okay. But all of this is linked to vitality status. How much do I claim on my medical aid, etc., etc. You can even add banking to that, meaning that if you spend well. Now, what is spending well at Discovery? The more credit you have, and the better you manage your credit, the better you're spending. And then you can push that payback up to 50%. Okay, but that's why I said there's a lot of T's and C's involved. But when we have our one-on-one discussion, my advice is going to be, you need X, Y, and Z benefits. What suits your lifestyle? At this,
I've got a question.
Yeah.
So, for instance, if you've got a child that's got medical problems, that's on your medical aid, will that influence your payback?
Unfortunately.
Because you're going to claim more.
You're going to clear it. You're going to claim more
in January.
Yeah, you are going to claim more. Remember, Discovery is all about healthy living and a healthy lifestyle. If that's you, then Discovery can be a perfect fit for you. So remember, guys, every single company, they wouldn't be live if there wasn't a place for them in the industry. Okay, they all are amazing. It just depends on what suits you. There's no one size fits all package. But then an interesting one that they literally just launched now, that I'm busy exploring. Most of you, I reckon, are already vaccinated. Every single person that is vaccinated, Discovery will give you an extra boost on your paybacks.
What?
Of up to 50%.
Yay!
They guarantee you on a 15%, and they will move that up to 50%.
Well done.
With not all the other T's and C's.
Do you think the other companies will follow?
I don't know. Discovery is first, so we'll see what's going to happen. But there is some major stuff coming in the insurance industry regarding COVID. Discovery is also the first one that said that if you are not vaccinated, you can almost look at a 20% increase in your premiums from next year onwards.
For your medical aid or all your premiums? Your
risk premiums. So they're forcing people to get vaccinated because they're all about healthy living and getting back to normal. Okay, so that's quickly on Discovery. But like I said, more in detail. Awesome, amazing. It's Sanlam. So let's quickly recap. Sanlam, 15 years. Discovery starts from 5 years. Well, you can even get it every single year. It's a small premium, a small little bit that you get back. From an advice point of view, I say bulk it up, and then we carry on. Okay. Then PPS, last but not least. So PPS does not have an official term attached to it. How does PPS work? They work on the concept of mutuality. Back in the day, 7 dentists started PPS. Like a massive stokvel. They all put money in together, and they said, if we can't work, we're going to pay each other. And then other people heard about it. Other doctors came in, dentists came in, and it became this big fraternity. And it just grew. And what they 82 years later now, 81. No, 80, 1941, 80.
I'm not really that old
okay.
Yet.
But 80 years later, they're still going strong on the mutuality concept, meaning that you pay a premium. There's no T's and C's involved. You get your benefits. If the company PPS makes a profit, you share in that profit, 100%. Now, what is a profit? You get your income, all the premiums, all of us, myself and Alfreda, our portfolios are at PPS. You pay your premiums, they pay their expenses, all their claims, their operational cost, and they keep a little bit in reserve. And after that, that's the profit. Yeah, they've got a little kitty that they hold. And by the way, that kitty is strong enough to carry that company for a full 2 years. If every single client had to claim tomorrow morning, they'll still be able to run their operational cost for 2 years. So the kitty is quite large. 100% of the profit then gets paid back to us as the shareholders / clients. Okay. But it's not in your back pocket. It gets invested on your behalf at PPS Investments and it continues growing. Okay, so you're not getting it. When do you have access to that? When you cancel all your PPS benefits, or at the age of 60 to 65, you get a tax-free benefit that starts paying out to you.
So that's some retirement shopping.
Yeah, you can call it retirement shopping. I don't include it into my retirement planning. And by the way, you guys remember, I hate retirement. I work towards financial freedom, but it's part of how we get to where we want to be.
So
but
not
all of
shopping
these,
at 65.
there we go. So, but with your own profit share.
Yeah,
So taking all of these companies into consideration, you guys have heard that they are all unique. It depends on what suits you. From my point of view, why am I biased towards the PPS profit share? Is because I like options. I like options for my clients. 8, 9, 10 years ago, company by the name of BrightRock. By the way, they also have a cash payback, but only at the age of 65. So I didn't include them into this now because you have to stick with them until 65. But a few years ago, BrightRock did not exist. Now they're one of the leading insurance companies in South Africa. So why do I like options? I don't want to lock my clients into something that we cannot make changes. And that's why it might sound as if I'm biased towards PPS, because I know that if in 2 years from now, PPS is not the solution for you anymore, we cut them and we move to the next guys, or 3 or 4 or 5 years.
And I think it's also important to mention to people that the lifestyle that you have now, guys, is completely different from the one that you'll have when you've got a house full of kids. I mean, we were also living the free life and having time to gym and do all the healthy stuff. And then you've got your kids and your career, and you'll see that your lifestyle changes. So you don't want your insurance company to dictate your lifestyle.
You want to be in control of what you do because, like I said in the beginning, you are paying for it. Yes, they're giving you a benefit, but you are paying. The moment you don't pay, you lose the benefit. So therefore, back to the investments, know the rules. Know what's going to suit you. Have the conversation. Don't sit with Wilco. The moment you hear that I start explaining how a cashback works before I know what you want, run for the hills. Exactly the same with anyone else. And I think that basically sums it up. And I've got a little story that I always have to put out there, and I'm not going to mention anything, but you can take it as you want. This is the challenge. I tell you today that you're going to pay the premium. I'm going to give you a car, a VW Polo. And sorry for those that have heard it already. You're going to drive the Polo. You are 25, I give you a Polo. You're going to pay the premium of a Mercedes. So you're going to pay extra for that Polo than what the other guys are paying for it. And then at the age of 65, I'll give you the Mercedes. But there's T's and C's involved. You're not allowed to bump it. You're not allowed to speed with it. You're not allowed to crash it. You're not allowed to let anyone else break into it. And if you adhere to all of those rules, I'll give you the Mercedes. But unfortunately, if you don't, you're going to be stuck with a Polo. Would you take that deal? And that's where I want to finish tonight, is with that. Okay. So guys, I think, we're awesome in time.
Yeah.
Have you got anything else?
I think that's the first time that we are actually in time for anything.
We were almost late for tonight, but anyway. Then so from our side, I don't know, Joe, is there any questions that stand out that needs to be handled right now?
Please mail us, guys, if we said, and hopefully we'll be able to see you guys in person for the last, what do I call it, round discussion.
Yeah, we want to have a fourth one. Hopefully it's not going to be a webinar. I want to be in person. There we go. Will you be comfortable to join us the fourth session for this year in person? because
COVID
I think it's going to be
permitting.
awesome. And trying, COVID permitting, we'll stick to all the rules. But hopefully all of us are then vaccinated by then. And then I actually want to get all the product providers in. There's some exciting companies that I still need to tell you guys about.
Yeah, that we're partnering with.
Yeah, there's exciting stuff coming for doctors on the one-on-one sessions. I'll tell you more about that. But we are all about making life easier for doctors, medical industry, and everyone out there.
People.
For people, we want to make life easier for people. So it's been fun. Thank you.
That's a pleasure.
Love you to bits, guys. Thank you very much, Joe. Once again from our side, you make life easier. Dankie vir jou werk. You make us look professional. And then I want to give a special mention. I reckon she's on here. Paula, thanks for all your input.
Yes,
Kanya, thank you. Thank you from SMU, Kanya. Thank you for your input and all the help and getting the message out there to get to a lot of people. This is not the last time, but hopefully the last time like this.
Yeah. Next time you will have a wine with us.
All right. Awesome stuff. Guys, have a wonderful
Keep
evening.
well. Enjoy your evening.
Chat soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Great. Thank you, guys.